Mic check, life check. With Haley Jensen. Hi friends, welcome back. This is part 2 of the San Diego trip series. I realized as I was recording that this was turning into a very long episode, but in all reality, I just talk and yap a lot. So, not that surprising. Here is part 2. Next, we saw these massive, I think they're baboons? Is that what they are? With the pink butts. Anyway, they were walking around and they were a good time. They had these bright pink butts. And yeah, they were a good time. So then the next thing that we saw was more plants. I'm just going through my camera roll right now. Oh, we saw like this little deer. I don't know if it's the same as I don't think it's the same as the bowing deer that live in Japan, but it looks similar. And then we saw alpacas, not camels. What's the other one? Llama. I think they're alpaca. Anyway, saw some of those. I won't name every animal we saw, but I'm just going through my camera roll really quick here. So elephants, which actually was kind of funny because I'm pretty sure the elephants were from Utah, because I remember when we went to our local zoo, I think they had just barely gotten rid of the elephant exhibit, which was kind of sad because my husband hadn't been to the zoo since he was like a child, so he didn't even remember any of it in general. But then there was like a little plaque at our zoo that said our elephants have gone. And I believe that it had said to San Diego because he remembered the same thing. And we're like, hey, maybe these are our animals or our elephants. So that was kind of funny that we remembered that. We're like, oh, maybe these ones are our locals. So, but yeah. And then as for some of the big cats, we didn't really see any of the big cats awake. They were all very much sleeping, which were lions and tigers. We did see a black bear moving around. We wanted to see the sun bear, which is like the bear that looks like it's dressed up in a human costume, but we didn't have, we tried to look for it, but we couldn't find it. So I don't know if he was hiding or sleeping. The polar bear, that was kind of wild. So we pulled up, and my husband loves polar bears in general. But so we pulled up, and the polar bear was not very white. It was like a dark gray. And I was like, okay, that's kind of unique. But that, and then he was chilling. But yeah, he looks like dark charcoal, almost black. It was kind of weird. And I was like, oh, well, I heard once that their fur is transparent, I believe. So maybe that's just the natural reflection of his environment. Maybe he's a dirty boy. And so he's been rolling around, and maybe that's why. That would make more sense because he's definitely not in the Arctic. He's in San Diego. But we did see a jaguar. I believe it's a jaguar. So that was cool. And then we saw the feeding time for the jaguar because this employee came out and put this giant hunk of meat on this hook thing. And so the jaguar was very excited for that and pacing around. Okay, one of the coolest things I'd say we saw were the hippos. The hippos were ginormous and totally just chilling underwater. And one of them was just underwater all the time. And so we're it spawned the thought process of wait, they're mammals. Can they breathe underwater? So we were Googling it, and then we found a plaque 2 minutes later that said, no, they can't. They subconsciously will sleep underwater sometimes, but then their body naturally, humans just breathe naturally, will float up to the surface for a quick breath and then float back down. And they'll do that just to sleep. And so, anyway, they were just massive and they were so cool. But then we also know, and my husband lovingly reminded me of how they are also one of the most deadly animals on the earth, which is so funny. But they looked like big sleeping blobs, and we highly enjoyed our time watching them. And so yeah, so then we saw the pandas next, which was super cool. I'm pretty sure I don't know if it's a new exhibit, but they were definitely hyping it up. It had its own line and it had a photo session, and we saw this cute little panda nibbling on some bamboo. So it was definitely a lot of fun to see. I think there's 2 pandas. There's a female and a male, which apparently they are trying to encourage them to breed and create baby pandas, but I don't remember what they said, but I think maybe later this year, next year, I think that they're going to try for that and have them make baby pandas. And then at this point in our day, my toddler fell asleep, so we got to hang out by these black and white kind of monkeys. I don't remember what they're called. They're a specific kind, but so we took a little chill there, got some food, some snacks. It was a good time. We saw a black bear, which he was cool. Very, very ragamuffy though. His fur was kind of everywhere. But, you know, who's he trying to impress, you know? He can do whatever he wants. Okay, and then we took some really, really cute pictures by the giraffes. We saw giraffes next, and I put my toddler on my shoulders, and then, so we were taking pictures, and then this woman came up, and it's because she saw that we were taking pictures, and she's like, would you like me to take your pictures? For, obviously, both of us, because it's usually a one or the other situation when your significant other is taking the picture, and so she was a sweetheart, and she took our picture. And I offered it. I said, hey, can I get a picture? Like, would you like a picture with the giraffes? And she's like, well, I don't know, because it was just her. And I didn't know where her family was, whatever. And she's like, oh, well, why not? Yeah, let's do it. And I'm like, I love that attitude for you. Yes, I don't care. Like, you shouldn't care that you're by yourself either. Get that photo. Take those memories, you know? Like, I love that for her. Anyway, so we have some really cute photos from the giraffes, and especially because they were doing like a giraffe feeding time, and so all the giraffes were like very lively and kind of by the edge and getting fed. I don't know if they're getting fed because we didn't do it, but they're getting fed something. And then we found, I found some more plants, of course, and they were birds of paradise, which was kind of fun because, one, I love yoga in general, and that's a yoga pose that is done in yoga. And so I was talking to my husband about that. I'm like, this is called the birds of paradise plant, but this is also in yoga, which is funny because I was actually just at Costco, and I believe they just got a bunch of the plant of birds of paradise in, and they're really pretty, and they have like a bright orange flower that grows with them. However, with indoor plants, obviously you need the pollination, or else you don't have the flowers that grow, I don't think. I mean, maybe I'm hallucinating. Actually, I don't know that, so don't quote me on that. Let me Google it. I'll Google it later, but I'm assuming that's usually the situation. Maybe I'm wrong. No, I'm curious. I'm gonna Google it. All right, so I have the answer. Yes and no. Yes, they can potentially bloom indoors, but it is rare. And it definitely needs a warmer, humid environment, a constant warmth and temperature. And so I was Googling it for Utah, and it's like, probably not, even indoors. So that's okay, because I like the flower, I like the look. I think has a cute little pop of color. However, I'm not the biggest fan of orange in general, so it's like, yeah, it's alright. But very pretty. I loved seeing it in our San Diego zoo travels. It was gorgeous in its actual habitat, and I kept pointing them out too. My husband was probably really annoyed with me because like, look, it's another bird's paradise. Anyway, so then we saw rhinos, zebra, donkeys. Ooh, flamingos. Flamingos were everywhere in SeaWorld along with San Diego Zoo. Like, there would be one like little exhibit of flamingos, and then there would be like another one, and then another one. So flamingos do very well in San Diego, and apparently breed very well and easily too, because they had a whole lot of them. They had flamingos to spare. But they were really cute and fun. But the whole concept of getting your pink back was famous the last couple of years. And they were just referring to how flamingos have their babies and they lose the bright, vibrant pink color, the moms do. And so then there was like this whole thing. I think it was started by Alison Cooch, who's the wife of Isaac Rochelle. Is that the name? I don't know. I'm somewhat savvy with the NFL, but kind of not really sometimes. Anyway, but she was doing this whole thing of like getting her pink back, and that was alluding to how flamingos lose their pink, and that with having a baby as a human, you lose your pink bit too. So getting your pink back, I would say where I am in life right now with my baby being 14 months, I am definitely getting my pink back. So that's wonderful for me, I guess. And yeah, until my next baby when I lose it again. Okay, so still going through my camera roll. I don't know. Well, okay, I have a guess, but I don't know why, but the San Diego park had notorious merch for like 3 specific animals. One was pandas, because of course they had their panda exhibit. I'm not sure if the pandas had recently arrived or whatever. I'm not sure. But anyway, pandas. And then I don't remember what the other one was. I can't remember right now. But the other one that was everywhere was capybaras, which it's funny because I've been chronically online, especially TikTok, since 2019, I'd say. And when capybaras had their moment on TikTok and they were in edits everywhere, very entertaining for one. The most chill animals. They were always like riding different like alligators and stuff, and they're just, I don't know if that's real. I'm assuming it's real. I think it is. But just the most chill guy kind of vibes capybaras are. And we did see them, and that was fun. But there was capybara hats, like t-shirts, stuffed animals, like everywhere. And anyway, so there's this one particular shirt, which looking back, because I took a picture of it, I kind of wish I got it, and I still could, because I looked it up and I believe it's on Amazon. Pretty iconic, and I'm kind of regretting not getting it now. But the problem is I have way too many clothes, and that's kind of part of it. But we'll see, maybe one day. But definitely a big fan of the capybaras. So then we went to a show, which it was kind of like a wildlife conservation efforts kind of informing. But of course, they were going to have a bunch of animals be a part of it. So, of course, we went to that. They had I don't remember what the official term or name of it, but it was like a lynx kind of cat. Had super tall ears. Like, that was like the number one thing that you noticed right off the bat. But it was crazy because they were just walking around on a leash, and it was like the size of probably like a golden retriever, but like a little shorter. But anyway, cool looking cat. Terrifying. Definitely could kill you. And then they brought out a porcupine. Very nice, very nice. And then they brought out, ironically, a dog, a Labrador. And apparently this dog had failed being part of, I think it was a drug sniffing or police work or something like that. But anyway, and they were really cute the way they talked about it. They're like, we just found out that when the reason why it was rejected from the program, but that they had found out that the dog was too food inclined, like too much so to do his job right. And so it was kind of funny because they kept on giving him treats and talking about that. But anyway, he was cute. He had a very good nose though, and they were talking about how man's best friend is also one of the cool creatures of the earth, blah 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 blah. But anyway, so they hid his stuffed animal, and he found it very quick. And like even the instructor or presenter didn't even know where the stuffed animal was hid. But yeah, this dog like zoomed and found it pretty quick. It was quite impressive. Then they brought out an owl. That was cool. And I remember hearing through my life that like owls can't actually turn their head 360. And so that was funny because they touched on that, and that they basically can, but not like all the way. Anyway, so then the next animal, oh my gosh, it was a sloth. And it was a pretty big sloth. But it was really cool because it had like this rope wire around the entire like main part of the stage. And when they say sloths are slow, this one was not. This one was booking it like fast. And like pretty fast. Like a lot faster than you would expect. And so much so that while the presenter was talking, this sloth, I think, is supposed to like go around the rope, like around the arena once. But because the sloth was going so fast, he did a second lap. It was funny. Anyway, super cute though. And it's funny because I know there's just so many like sloths, I feel like, are one of those creatures that people like overly fixate on. I don't know why. Maybe it's the same kind of capybara vibes where they're just like a vibe, I guess. I don't know. I knew a girl. Actually, I've known multiple people. It's kind of like I'm so unique. Just kidding. No, but I've known so many girls that have like are diehard sloth fans, which I'm sure they just picked an animal, but anyway. So more pictures of plants, go figure. They had like the Swiss cheese looking monsters there, and they were giant. They were bigger than like my body. It was crazy. But 10 out of 10 was a fan. My husband was most definitely sick of me talking about plants. But as it goes. So we saw alligators and crocodiles and turtles and reptiles and a lot of fun stuff. Oh, we saw the red pandas. They were very cute. When we had gone to our local zoo, the enclosure isn't super great at our local zoo because like the pandas are out of sight. I'd say 80% of the enclosure, and so you like get small glimpses. But anyway, this enclosure was beautiful. It was like super big, super wide open. You had a lot of visibility, and so we saw the red pandas vibes. I think there's like 2 of them at least, but they were really cute. I still haven't seen that movie. It's the Turning Red or whatever by Disney that they had all the red panda hype for, so I can't really comment on that. Then so we saw some more flamingos. My toddler took a nap. Good times. And then we left. And then another wonderful person. So we took they had like a giant lion statue right outside the zoo. It's ginormous. It's like if you put a semi-truck diagonally with its nose to the ground. That's like pretty much what the statue looks like, but a lion. Anyway, interesting description, I know. But we were taking a selfie, and this cute mom ran up to us. She's like, "Do you want us to take your picture?" And I'm like, "Yes, thank you." So I think that's just like one of the cutest things for humanity that people get it. It's like you need a stranger to take your picture, and I love that. So then after the zoo, that was the last bit of our zoo shenanigans. And so then we found another local suggested restaurant, which is Mitch's Seafood. So good. So fresh. Incredible. I got shrimp. Then the shrimp was large in charge. Big shrimp. These were steroid shrimps. But I'm sure they were just very large because we were next to the ocean and they grow high and mighty there. But along with fries, coleslaw, so good. My husband got like this general like seafood platter. It had calamari, shrimp, crab cakes, fish and chips, so the cod or whatever, breaded cod. Everything's so good. 10 out of 10. If I go back, I'm going there again. So good. The fries were great too. Okay, once again, the ketchup. Second restaurant, ketchup was supreme. I still don't know what it is, but maybe somebody that lives in California knows and can DM me and tell me why the ketchup is so good. I don't know why, I don't know. Ketchup is ketchup, right? I don't know. Apparently they have a different recipe there and they're gatekeeping it. Anyway, so then we walked around on the dock right next to Mitch's Seafood, and that was fun. It always feels so sketchy, like when you walk on docks like that, because you're the entire time I'm like, oh, well, I'm gonna fall in. It's like the quote by what is it, Jack Sparrow in the Mermaid Blackbeard one, where he's like has to jump off the cliff, and he's like, do you ever get that feeling when you're standing on the edge of something really high up and you get the sudden urge to jump? I don't have it. And then he has to jump it anyway. Yeah, when walking on that pier the entire time, I was like, I'm gonna fall in. I'm gonna fall in. And I don't know, unless I was like to pass out and just drain away. But yeah, it wasn't even like high up per se. It was just literally right above the ocean. But I just had that constant anxiety. Always got it. We're a singing podcast now. Anyway. Yeah, we saw a lot of crabs and little crab trappy things, and they were big. They were big as like 2 of my faces pushed together. And then it was funny. I started taking pictures of my husband, and I always joke. I'm like, they're for like your next I don't know, ID badge or whatever. Like, not that they can upload that, but anyway, he's like, no, never. But he probably is just annoyed because I always do that at random times. He's like, okay, but he's just so cute, so I take pictures of him a lot. And then we skipped back to the car. Oh, the other thing that's like so fascinating to me, they have this very specific bright purple tree that is everywhere in San Diego. And I looked it up. would have to Google the name of it, but apparently it only blooms like a specific time during spring, summer, which I guess is pretty typical for most trees. But we saw them everywhere, and they're so pretty. They're just like this most vibrant purple that I have not seen in Utah ever. And the fact that they were just everywhere, it was just so magical, and I loved it. So then I think we went to go get ice cream that night. I believe so. Yeah. Salt and Straw, which it was like this cute little ice cream shop, had wonderful reviews, and everyone suggested to go there. And it was very good. The flavors were very unique, very original, tasted very homemade. I don't know how you describe. It was just very good ice cream. Definitely would recommend. And we got, let me remember, we got a coffee one because my husband likes coffee ice cream. We got a caramel vanilla based one. We got, I think it was a snickerdoodle one, and then a brownie like mudslide. So good. But that was based in Little Italy, so we were throughout Little Italy of the littlest Italy in San Diego, and that was a good time. But that is where we had a lot of parking horrors, because they had these like little right off the street parking areas, but you had to pay like, I think it was like $25-$35. And it's like, we literally only went there for ice cream, which were going to be done. Like, we'd go in, eat our ice cream, and leave pretty much after, let's say 30-40 minutes tops. And so we were like, we don't want to pay parking. We're not staying here all day. Like, anyway, so then we were trying to find street parking, but it was so busy and impossible. And so we literally spent, I'd say 40 minutes at least, 45 minutes to an hour driving around just looking for a place to park. And it was emotionally trying because it's stressful. Like, and I don't know, it was very busy. And so like all the cars were always on our tail, and everyone's really competitive trying to find a spot. And anyway, so then we had pulled initially to the one parking lot right offside one of the streets, and then we found out you had to pay. And so we got back in our car and kept driving. And so then we came across this parking garage, and I was like, okay, like, this is city parking. Like, the lot before just felt more of like someone's custom lot taking advantage of people. I don't know. And this second one was like a parking garage, like underground. And so we're like, okay, this has to be more reasonable. No, it was $35. And we're like, what? And so then my husband was driving at the time, and I think it was just stressing him out because we just were in the car for so long and kept moving, and it was dumb, but like, I don't regret it, because your girl was like, hey, let me take a turn and drive around, blah, blah, blah. And I kid you not, we get out of the parking structure and turn like three times, three blocks, and I happened to spot one parking spot that was on the street, not parallel, but just kind of like, it was diagonally with like a little meter, right? And I hopped out of the car, and I'm like, oh, please be good. Like, I don't know how much their metered parking cost. And so then I see it flash on the dial that it's something to 6 p.m. And I look at my watch, and it was 6:15. I was like, oh, it's free now. It's free after 6 or whatever. And so that was literally the best. I did like the happiest dance, and it was probably really awkward to see, but I was so happy and just made eye contact. Just like, we did it with my husband. All for ice cream, but it was very good ice cream. Probably not worth the stress that we went through, but it was very good ice cream. So then after the ice cream, let's see, we went and stopped by, initially we stopped by a Kroger's? No, what was it called? It was called Ralph's. That's what it was. See, we don't have a Ralph's in Utah. We have Smith's. We used to have Reams and Albertsons, but then they got rid of the Albertsons, and then I know there's a couple Reams around, but yeah, Smith's is our Kroger per se. But anyway, so we had to go visit Ralph's, even though we had never been to a Ralph's, and just because my husband wanted some energy drinks. I'm not an energy drink gal. Caffeine doesn't work on me because of my ADHD. So anyway, but he needed some because that's how he laughs and loves. But anyway, so we went into this little like I'd say pop culture meets anime meets Squishmallow store called Mini So or Sue. And it had a little smiley face after it. But anyway, it's right next to a Trader Joe's. And the Trader Joe's was really cool though, because I really liked the location of it. It just felt very corner store-isk. Anyway, but it was cool. So just stopped in there. I think I got a kombucha from Trader Joe's. I looked for the Dubai chocolate bar. Not that like I haven't tried it, but it's just like all over social media, and I heard that Trader Joe's now has one, and I'm like, yeah, like I don't need this giant multi-pack from Costco because Costco now has them. And yeah, I'd say I don't get the hype, but I haven't had one yet, so we'll see. I'll maybe soon in the future, and I will think it's amazing, and I will change my mind. But until then, so then the next day we had SeaWorld. But before we got to SeaWorld, and when I say we, I mean me, I found the place we were going to go for brunch. So, brunch was at Park House Eatery in some part of San Diego. I don't know what part it was. And I had read reviews. I had read Reddit. Like, everyone was highly suggesting this place. And I was like, all right, bet, let's go. So we went, and it was so cute for one. The aesthetic was wonderful. Hostess, super cute, smiley. Waiter, super cute, smiley. And we ate outside under these cute little red umbrellas, and it was a vibe. So even before we ordered our food, like even my husband actually was the one that made this comment, because we had our toddler, of course, with us. And so they immediately grab the chair. They don't even blink twice, and then immediately get a little water cup with a straw for him. And I say, is this okay? And gives it to him, kind of thing. And I was like, yes, that's incredible. So our toddler's actually really good at drinking out of a straw, which I don't know if all toddlers are. But anyway, the fact that they did that right off the bat, I'm like, yes, customer service, 10 out of 10. Like, because every other restaurant that we go to, even in Utah, they kind of like disregard the kid always. Like some of them, yeah, will be like, oh, do they want to drink anything or whatever. But the fact that she did it without us even asking was just like gold star in our book. It was great. Anyway, so then my husband ordered coffee. I ordered matcha. Both were very good. And then we got to the menu, which my husband had the eggs Benedict. That's kind of his thing. He really likes that whenever we go to brunch. I am more of a carb gal, so I got the French toast, and it came with some eggs, came with like cream stuff. I don't know. Came with all the bougie stuff. But the thing that I had read online is that they have like a house muffin, and that changes day to day. And so the one that ours was based off was like a Oreo kind of concept, but it still looks like a muffin. It's just like kind of like Oreo interior, I guess. I don't know. But I had read online that they sell out like every day. And so I was like, yeah, even if we're not hungry, we have to get this muffin. And so, but my toddler enjoyed some of it. And then we ended up saving like the rest because we were very full and we did not eat. Because when we ordered the muffin, we thought it was just going to be like a smaller muffin, like maybe how the old Costco muffins were, like where they're kind of bigger. No, this thing is ginormous. It took up like an entire plate. It was crazy. It definitely could be your entree if for one person. And you'd be like, haha, yeah, eating my muffin. That sounds weird. Anyway, so then, but my toddler ate some of it, and then we saved the rest for like the next morning or something like that. But it was really good. So, Park House Eatery, well done. But yeah, so that was brunch. I'm looking at pictures now. My French toast came with eggs, bacon, strawberries, and some whipped butter. I think that's what that was. But then we got to SeaWorld, and so SeaWorld, of course, as I said before, charged $35 for parking. Not a fan. Not a fan. Just make it free. You're already stealing our money. Anyway, are they trying to be Disney? Boo. Just kidding. Anyway, so then we went to... Right off the bat, we did get the meal package for SeaWorld, which I kind of regret, kind of don't regret. Obviously, it's theme park food, so it's not going to be anything spectacular, but we didn't have to worry about bringing food in, I guess, and carry that around. I don't know. With the knowledge I have now, I definitely would just bring food in. but it was easy for what it was at the time. And so we initially went in and we went to the Turtle Reef exhibit, I guess. I was trying to just make sure that we hit up all the shows and everything. And for the most part, I think we did go to like every show. But so we went and saw the turtles, and the turtles were ginormous. And like, obviously I know the whole hype/hate for SeaWorld. Obviously I try to lean into the concept that these animals are being rescued, and that's why they're there, a lot of them. And so that's kind of my thing. But I was a little sad. So after the turtles, we did hit up the orca show. And the orca is like, I'm sure they're very well taken care of, and it's very circumstantial if they were injured or whatever, or bred in captivity. I don't know. But their fins were very, like, they didn't look very healthy. Like, they were bent in, like, kind of the weird directions. They weren't straight, but maybe they never are, you know? Like, I'm not an orca expert, so I wouldn't know. But they were cool, very smart, did a lot of flips and kicks and kicks. And yeah, definitely, it was a very cool experience. I am probably good and SeaWorld out probably for the rest of my life until my child or children desperately would like to go back. But I do have lots of video footage to prove that they were there. So maybe they can just live vicariously through my videos and they'll be good too. But we'll see. If anything, I'll just tell them, be like, you know what? You get more bang for your buck at Disneyland or Disney World, which definitely I would agree. I think if I were to go back, I would prefer, because I'm pretty sure there's an aquarium in general that we should have gone to or missed, or I don't know. Like, obviously we're going to SeaWorld and I'm going to see oceanic creatures, but if I were to go back, I would definitely go to a aquarium instead, but that's just because I've obviously now been to SeaWorld. So, yeah. The decor in SeaWorld was significantly less planty and less vibey. They still had a lot of plants, but it was not as overwhelming as it was at the San Diego Zoo. They did have a lot of like artistic exhibits. Like, they had like metallic fish, like these giant sculpture looking things. They had flying turtles, penguin statues, stuff like that. And so that was cool. It added some variety. But yeah, so then we saw some penguins, and then we headed on over to I believe it was the polar bear section. I don't know if we saw a polar bear. We definitely saw otters. They were really cute. They're so funny the way that they like get around. They look like big old like inchworms, the way that they kind of like walk and squiggle on by. So they're very cute. And then we saw these giant manatees, or maybe it's just one, and a long tooth whale looking thing. What is that called? I'm looking at it right now. Oh, it's a walrus, duh. I'm staring at it. I'm like, what is that? So yeah, maybe it wasn't a manatee, it was a walrus, but. And then we saw a beluga. I believe it's a beluga whale. Very cute. Unless it's not a beluga whale, but I should have paid more attention to these signs, obviously. But my kid and husband highly enjoyed the animals and all the exhibits, so it was really fun. The gift shops were a little enticing, but that's mostly because my toddler, he has a stuffed animal giraffe, and we call him Mr. Giraffe. He's very aesthetically pleasing. Like, he looks like a jelly cat, kind of. But his fur, his look is very, like, light tans and, like, pastel-y looking. So he's very aesthetically pleasing. But his name's Mr. Giraffe. My mom got him for my child. And he loves him and cuddles him so dearly every night. And so a part of me, like, because my husband was like, oh, we should get him an otter, like, stuffed animal or whatever. I'm like, yeah, I'm here for it, but he already has a obsession over this one, and I think that's it. I'll be really sad if something happens to Mr. Giraffe. I hope not. Like, I purposely don't even bring him on the vacation, even though, like I said, my child absolutely loves him. But for the sole reason I didn't want anything to happen to him, whether he got super dirty, whether he got chucked out of a stroller. Like, I just was not going to risk it. And I'm glad I stood by that, because when he got home, he was so excited to see him. And like, he wasn't sad or crying or anything, like, because he's still pretty young. So he probably just forgot about that he existed, but he remembered once he saw him. So definitely was a good move on my part, at least I think so, that we did not lose Mr. Giraffe on this trip. But then moving forward, we went to they had like this like petting zoo part, just kidding, where you can pet some sharks, which I'm a very big shark fan. I love sharks. I think they're so cool. Like, but anyway, so then they had these like tiny little, they're not tiger sharks, but they're like very, very small sharks. But they're chill. And they were just like in these little, what is it, petting pools? hand waiting pools. But they were fun and felt very slimy, and you could feel like their spine and vertebrae and stuff like that. And it was kind of weird, but it was fun. And so then I think we made our way or no, that's when we saw the orcas. Okay. Yeah, the orcas were cool. But so then after the orca show, we saw, what did we see? Oh, we saw some seals. They were very cute, very slippery looking. Then we went and got tacos, because that was part of our meal plan. And they had these carne asada fries. Those were good too. They also gave you like this slice of cheesecake, which I was pleasantly surprised, because most like cafeteria looking cheesecake things that they just kind of sling at you usually aren't very good. This one was very good. Very good cheesecake. And I'm actually not even a cheesecake person. My husband definitely is, but it was very good. 10 out of 10. Recommend. Well done, SeaWorld. But they also gave us a churro, and that was pretty good. Not as good as Disneyland, but still pretty alright. My child was definitely happy with all things food. I have a video of him just like going, ah, yeah, and he's like dancing because he got food. So happy for him. So then we went to, the funniest thing. So the next show that we went to was the sea lion show, and sea lion. And it was so funny as we were sitting there, and I was kind of looking around at the stage, because they had like this little fake vending machine that the animals will interact with or whatever. And I'm like, oh my gosh, because I did mention I'm chronically on TikTok. I've seen people film this show and upload it before, because I recognize the act with the vending machine and all that. And I looked at my husband, I was just like, oh my gosh, I've seen this on TikTok. He's like, yeah, I've seen it too. And I'm like, I just connected that. I've seen this on TikTok, and now we are sitting here waiting for the show to begin. Anyway, it was kind of weird, but it was fun, and the show itself was really cute. And I'm very impressed how smart the animals are. I do feel bad that I don't know, I'm sure they're happy. They get well rewarded with fish and everything. So I'm sure maybe they're having the time of their lives. They seem happy. I'm sure if they didn't want to do it, they wouldn't do it. So, I mean, at least I'd hope. So then after that show, we booked it on over to the pirate show, which the pirate show was actually really cool. So they had all these people, adults, males, mostly males, a couple females, riding jet skis. They had this pirate ship they brought in. They had a mermaid doing aerial acrobatics on like hoops and whatever is it called, lyras, and like the silks and whatnot. And then they had I'm trying to remember what they call it. It's the jetpack attachment to your feet thing that has like the hose coming out. Anyway, so then the guy's like flying in the air, and it's like a jetpack, but it's like with water. Anyway, so they used that. I thought that was so cool. I feel like that was really popular when it was first introduced. Like, I'd say upwards of like 15 years ago. Makes me sound so old. But I just remember being in like middle school, and okay, that's bad math. 10 years ago. I'm 26. I'm like, wait, that's not correct. So then, yeah, 10 years ago. And anyway, so it was super cool to see in person, and it really did add to the show. I thought it was a very like, I wouldn't say low budget, because I'm sure it's expensive, but like special effect without being too complex, but it was like just complex enough. Very cool. The overall performance ability of the show is quite impressive, and that's coming from a person that is very judgmental of such things. I have been a part of many different performance organizations and shows throughout my life, like multiple. And so I'm always I'm a very harsh critic. So I would say it was very, very good for what they did. The number one thing that was the most impressive to me during the show was that they were constantly like jumping and diving into the ocean. And that water is cold. When we were there, it was so cold. Like, we put our feet in it, and it was like, yeah, fun to dip your toes in, but like, I would not want to fully immerse my body in this water. And the fact that they were doing this for the show, and I know they do it at least 2 or 3 times a day because there's multiple show times, I was just like, I'm impressed. And even more so that if getting, I don't know, just having to jump in the ocean all the time, like, I don't know, I'm sure it's fun and they're getting paid for it, but it's a large commitment, I guess. But anyway, definitely would recommend the show if you're visiting. Very entertaining. It wasn't too cutesy, and it wasn't too adult, I guess. I know that's a concern, like when you go to Vegas, they used to have like a pirate show, but then it was getting too like raunchy or something, like that you couldn't even bring your kids to it. Obviously SeaWorld's not going to be raunchy, but it was a good in between where it didn't make the adults roll their eyes. They still paid attention, you know. And so anyway, after the pirate show, we went to get food, which we went to their chicken and crack shack or something like that. I think it's called a crack shack. But anyway, it was all right. I wouldn't recommend it as much. That's like kind of the only chicken based thing there. They had nuggets and a chicken sandwich, and it was all right. The tacos were better for sure. But then the last thing that we ended on for SeaWorld was we went to the dolphin show and had all the cute little dolphins doing their trick, and they were really cute. They were very talented, and it was really fun to see in person. I don't know, because at no point in my life I've seen dolphins perform, or dolphins in general. Actually, that's a lie. I think I saw dolphins one time when I was on a boat. So I'm trying to remember where. I think it was with my parents and family when we went on a cruise when I was younger. And I think we were on like a speedboat, and it was like attracting dolphins or something like that. But anyway, it's really cool to see them do tricks and flips and all that. So it was very fun to end the day with that. And my kiddo absolutely loved it. And it was really fun because he's at the age where he can see things like far away. Not that he's blind, but you know, like some babies are blind to an extent for a while where they can't really see things very well. But he is definitely at the age where he can see as well as I can. And so it's really fun to watch his eyes like track the dolphins, and then he'd like have this big old smile and go, oh, like, what's going on? And so that I understand when people say, like, especially for Disney, that you're not paying for their benefit. Like, yes, that you are in the moment, but because of course they're gonna forget it, but like so that you can experience their happiness. And I get that now at this point, but I mean, he is free in any way to enter, so that's nice on two and under and whatnot. But so then we got back to the hotel. We all got ready for bed, showered in bed. My kid's asleep, and my husband, he's funny. He always like goes to the bathroom one more time, like right before he goes to bed. And so I get a text because I'm on my phone just scrolling, waiting for him to turn off every light and get in bed. And he texts me and he's like, I think our toilet's broken. And I'm like, what? And keep in mind, we have another long day ahead of us the following day because that was going to be our beach day. And I was like, what is happening right now? And so I get up and quietly tiptoe because we're all just in one hotel room. And he's like, it won't stop running. And so thankfully it was not like a toilet clog issue, but the water level was constantly like refilling up and emptying. like in the main part of the bowl. And so it was just constantly moving and making a noise. And so after we took the back lid off it, we were just kind of seeing that where the water level kind of cutoff indicator thing is, it wasn't working right, or I don't know. Anyways, then I ended up going down to the front desk and telling us, hey, this is the problem. And so then fast forward, they got things squared away. There was a maintenance guy on site. He showed up, and it was so sweet because I had told the front desk, and I was like, hey, yeah, my kid's asleep, though. Like, is there any way, like, to be really quiet and get this kind of figured out? Or, because I had even said, I was like, hey, if we don't need to worry about this till the morning, like, can we just go to bed and we'll just close the door and try not to hear it? Because it was making pretty significant noise, just filling up and whatever. But it wasn't flooding or anything. And so they're like, well, no, we do need to take care of it as soon as possible, blah, blah, blah. It's like, that's their policy. And so anyway, so I'm like, okay, that's fine. But we have a kid. Like, is there any chance, like, the maintenance guy could be quiet? And so my husband was still in the room because he was with our kid. And so he reported back to me that this happened, because by the time that I had gone back up, the maintenance guy had already actually got into the room. And he told me, he's like, the maintenance guy knocked so quietly that I could barely even hear that someone knocked, which so cute, so respectful. And the maintenance guy was a little sweetheart, so props to him. Don't even know his name. Anyway, but he fixed it pretty quickly. He had to go get some, like, a brand new package of parts, and he switched out the little leveling gizmo thing in the toilet, and he fixed it. So go maintenance guy. So then we were able to go to bed, but that was our lovely toilet interaction of our trip. But so then the next day we headed to, what was the first stop we did? We went to a coffee shop. Oh my gosh, this coffee shop was so cute. There was plants everywhere. Like, yes, we know I'm a plantaholic, but the plants in here, there's such variety. They were so healthy. Like, oh, it was all beautiful. Anyway, so husband, of course, got a coffee. I got a matcha. I got a cherry-based matcha, which I've actually never had. I've had a lot of matchas, but I haven't had, like, a cherry-based one. And that had, like, cherry flavoring or whatever in it. And I'm not a huge cherry person. It was okay. The vibe was good, and that made it still taste good. But it was all right. But what's the name of this place? Let me see. Okay, so it's Communal Coffee in San Diego, and it is the cutest little combo coffee shop boutique. Anyway, super cute. I believe they have a coffee truck as well. I'm not entirely sure if it's a multiple locations thing, but the vibes were immaculate. So then, besides the matcha coffee, I got an acai bowl. My husband got a chocolate croissant, and we split those. So yummy. My favorite thing, I took a picture of their lighting fixture because it was super bougie, and I was like, ooh, inspiration for my home. For me, I am not that great at the whole designer aspect, modern, yada, yada, yada. I'm trying. I'm learning slowly, but it also takes time, and I think that's also part of the love and joy of having a home, is that you naturally want everything to be perfect and amazing right off the bat. And money-wise, like, you need a slow and steady is the concept as well, but it is more fun, I think, to take things a little slow, even though I think there's a bit of, I guess, frustration with doing it that way too, because you want things to be, like, squared away and perfect, just like your house, and, like, all the decor and stuff. But unless you're a bajillionaire, that usually doesn't happen too often. But especially because we had a new build, and so you literally get just the frame of your house, pretty much. The only thing that they give you is your dishwasher, your microwave, and your stove. Those are the three things. But you have to get your own, like, washer dryer, fridge, blah, blah, blah. Sorry, boring stuff. But anyway, and that obviously applies to everything, including window coverings, including you change the dirt from the lot into grass and trees and stuff. So that's been kind of the bane of my existence. And so getting crafty with it, that's one of my favorite pastimes these days, is that I take pictures of things when I go places. Anyway, back to the trip. We went to, after that, quick note. Everyone in San Diego in California has a dog. We saw so many dogs, and it was my favorite. For one, because I thought it was fun to see dogs, but my son loves them. So every time he sees one, he's like, oh, duck. He's so cute. Anyway, so that was fun. So then after that, we went to Tokyo Central Specialty Market, which they actually have like 3 stores all in one little parking lot, and they're all related to each other. So they're all called like Tokyo Central, but one's like a market, one's like a grocery store, and one's like a kind of like a Dollar Tree, but it's all like Tokyo, Japan themed. And yeah, super cool, super fun. We didn't buy too much. Oh, they had this entire Tamagotchi section in the specialty market part. Anyway, super fun. I never had one growing up, but I obviously felt the nostalgia through others and them talking about it. So even though I'm not super knowledgeable, it was, I guess, fun to see still. And then my husband, he is definitely on the Japanese side of TikTok all the time. He loves anime. And so he saw these grocery store videos of like their ice cream that you can get, and they're like pre-swirled in like a cup and a cone. Anyway, so we had to get them because my husband was like, oh my gosh, I've always wanted to try these, blah, blah, blah. They tasted like Cool Whip. I'm pretty sure they just were Cool Whip. Like frozen Cool Whip. And anyway, so it was fun though. He fulfilled his dream of trying them, so happy for him. But we, in one of the stores, they had a bunch of, we went to a different store. It's I don't remember what it's called, but it was a nearby store that had anime figurines and whatnot. And so my husband likes collecting them. So he picked up one. I think it's from Fairy Tail, if you're familiar. I don't remember what the girl's name is, but if you do, feel free to comment. But it's, here's the store name. It's Anime Akiba. Akiba. But that's fun. Oh, and we also picked up an egg salad sandwich, because that is, of course, one of the other very popular anime snack meals that is shown, or Japanese go-tos, I guess, for their snacks. But let's see here. He also got a spicy cod seaweed wrap triangle thing. I don't eat that because I'm not a spicy fan, but he got it and he said it was good, so also thing. But we also did pick up some sushi. So fresh, immaculate, beautiful, 10 out of 10, gorgeous. Wish we had that in Utah. But yeah, best little snack. Sushi is will always be a favorite go-to. It baffles my mind that some people don't like sushi. I'm just like, you are missing out on one of life's greatest joys, but to each their own. So then we went to a mall, what was the name of it? It was TC. So we went to Westfield UTC shopping mall. So it was an outdoor mall, but, well, actually, I guess they technically had some indoor stuff, but anyway, it was really pretty. It's so much more of a vibe to go to this mall than any shopping experience in Utah, because once again, plants, architecture. It was so organic. It just felt so lovely and wonderful. The one thing is, we went into obviously a lot of stores, but one of them was Hollister, and it was like a bloodbath in there. It was very confusing to me. There's so many girls, and they were all hogging the dressing rooms. I was like, is it I was very confused. So I don't remember what day we went. So maybe it was school got off. I don't know. But there was just, and a lot of the girls were just super catty. I know it's probably a lot with the age demographic, but I was just very confused. I was like, I feel like I just got transported back to high school or something, or junior high. Because everyone in there was frantically Mom, should I get this? Should I get this? I'm like, oh my gosh, take a chill pill. Anyway, it was quite the experience. So anyway, but my husband found out that they had a Uniqlo store, and he was super excited about that. So we checked that out. He loved LOVED, loved the t-shirts and so he got like 4 of them. I'm pretty sure it's like the exact same shirt, different colors. But hey, props to him. We love that for him. I tried because they have a lot of like tanks that are specifically like you don't wear a bra with it because it has a built-in bra or whatever. Yeah, it didn't work out with my body type because it's, I don't know, they just fit weird. So I was a little sad it didn't work out, but that's all right. I have too much clothes anyway, so I need to get rid of some. But yeah, so then we went to Built Basics because Built is my husband's favorite store of all time. It is higher quality and, well, not higher quality. He just likes the style better than Lululemon. And so it's his favorite go-to these days. I have been more recently impressed with some of the female things that they are offering. I still have yet to purchase, but maybe in the future. So then we went to, ironically, Lululemon, which we found some lovely markdowns. The funniest thing is we always, whenever we travel and we go to a Lululemon, we get so lucky with the markdowns we find, and which are obviously like clearance, discount, whatever. But in Utah, you never get lucky because Lululemons are picked clean, especially the markdowns, especially by the employees. And so you never find like dimes in Utah. So whenever we travel though, we always do. And anyway, so we found 2 different things. So it was a grand old time. Happy shopping. But anyway, so then we left the mall and we went to the children's place. I believe that's what it's called, where the seals or leopards, seals, hang out on the rocks, and they were really cute. They didn't move around a lot. They literally just looked like rocks. But that is where we had my child take his first little steps in the ocean, and he loved it. He was so happy, and it was so fun to watch him just be overjoyed and obsessed with what was going on. So super fun. We also drove by right there is the Oppenheim Group's San Diego office. So that was kind of a little fangirl moment for me because I do definitely watch Selling Sunset. And so it was fun. I was like, oh my gosh, that's the office. And it had like the motorcycle in the window. And so it was fun. But it was a Sunday. That's why. But yeah, it was closed. And so we didn't see anybody in the office because it was closed. But super fun nonetheless. And then we went to the Sea Level Lounge, is that what it's called? I think lounge restaurant, and it was super fun, super yum. We sat outside on the patio, and so we had like an ocean view lookout, and that was really fun. But keep in mind, this was our last night, and so we got all the good food. Got calamari, got I think my husband got a steak. I got a fish and chips something such and such, so it was really good. Oh yeah, he got steak and shrimp, asparagus. It was so good. That was a recommendation from our waitress, and she definitely delivered because it was super yummy. So then we headed back to the hotel, got ready to leave for the next morning, packed everything up, and we made our way to the airport the next morning. And of course, same thing. I already told the first airport story, so the second one was similar, but a lot better. So, obviously got to security after checking in Delta. Delta was smooth, the line was a lot shorter. And so we got to security, same thing. Guy says, different guy. It's like, hey, your maiden name is not correct. Can you go talk to Delta about that? I'm like, oh, we already did this, blah. So then we went to Delta, and we received the most wonderful advice from this very knowledgeable millennial gal, where she's like, this is what you gotta do. You gotta call Delta. You gotta let them know that you changed your name. You gotta prove that you changed your name, blah, 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 blah. So in the future, we hopefully will never have this happen ever again. But at least on the way home, it was a lot less stressful. So that was good. As for how my baby boy did on the plane, He was a lot more wriggly because I think it was because it wasn't as new of an experience for him. He was like, oh boy, like I have to sit here kind of thing. But then I did feed him when we took off, and and he fell asleep, so that was nice. So he slept for a hot minute of the flight. So that was nice. I wish he had done that on the way there, but can't have everything. But yeah, that is the end of our story today. It was a bit of a long one, so I probably will be doing this in 2 different episodes because I'm looking at the time now and we are at the 2-hour mark. So if you are here and you have listened to both episodes, props to you. Thanks for being here. If you would do me the highest of favors and honors and subscribe, give it a little 5-star, I'd appreciate it so much. It has been so fun since starting this podcast to watch the growth of it, to watch followers, to watch the stats. There's a kind of a analyzing area that I can look at of all the episodes, and my favorite thing is to see when people follow, because I have this little number and it does a little tick mark and lets me know, and I do a little hooray and little party dance every time I see that number go up. So if you want to help make a girl happy and do a little dance for you, not for you to see, but sometime in the universe when she sees that number go up, please do me a favor and hit subscribe. I would love you forever. That's it for all right now for today. Your girl's tired. She's gonna go to bed. But I hope you have a fantastic day, and if you have been to San Diego yourself, you already know all this. But if you do in the future, hey, maybe it will help you plan for some places you'd like to visit or things you'd like to eat. But yeah, thank you so much for listening. I love you lots. Have a great rest of your day, and bye.